I don't believe for 1 minute that Dan Ashworth isn't involved in any of these decisions. I'm sure he's sitting at home, but this time probably with an adult supervisor, making sure he doesn't accidentally email Newcastle about these conversations on Erik ten Hag. We're hearing stories that Jean-Claude Blanc is arguing for ten Hag, and Dave Brailsford is playing devil's advocate so that he can have an ulterior point of view. And later on in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about how FFP won't be the reason why we don't spend too much this summer. No, he's leaving the Ajax because he thinks over there he has a chance to make a name for himself. Obviously, he doesn't think he can make a name for himself working for you in the French league. Hey, welcome back everybody. Sorry it took me a while to make this next video, but I did post a couple of shorts 2 days ago just to keep the flow going. But honestly, I was waiting till today because I thought today they would come out and make an announcement on whether or not our manager is going to be Erik ten Hag. It seems like they haven't decided whether or not to sack him yet, and it's already been almost a week. This confuses me because when INEOS first came in, they were saying things like, we're going to hire top-level football guys to make the footballing decisions. Yeah, we're going to put the Manchester back into Manchester United. I know that doesn't sound like them, but that's how I feel right now. They're cartoon characters. That's literally how I feel right now. Like they're acting not like professionals. Because if the football guys are going to be making the footballing decisions, right now, we only have one actual football guy officially on staff, and that's Jason Wilcox. Even though I don't believe for 1 minute that Dan Ashworth isn't involved in any of these decisions, I'm sure he's sitting at home, but this time probably with an adult supervisor, making sure he doesn't accidentally email Newcastle about these conversations on Erik ten Hag. But here's the thing. If it is Dan Ashworth, it should only be Dan Ashworth and Jason Wilcox that are talking. And if it's only these two people, that by now you would think they would have come to some sort of consensus or agreement on what to do next. But it's not the case, is it? We're hearing stories that Jean-Claude Blanc is arguing for ten Hag, and Dave Brailsford is playing devil's advocate so that he can have an ulterior point of view. I don't know what the hell's going on, but it's like they're running a debate class instead of running a football club. Make a decision, and just like you said and promised, let the football guys make those footballing decisions. Yeah? This is my fear about INEOS. People think I'm INEOS bashing. I got a couple of comments that told me to just kind of trust the process or something of that nature. Here's the thing. I would love to just trust the process. Unfortunately, these men are partnered up with these other men that I don't trust whatsoever. The Glazers and INEOS are partners. They are co-owners. Any way you cut it, they are in bed together. They're in cahoots together. They're going to have the same type of conversations. And later on in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about how FFP won't be the reason why we don't spend too much this summer. We'll get to that. But right now, let's talk about this situation, this problem. They are acting slower than the Glazers. They are having committees of talking about whether or not to keep ten Hag. And here's my question. What makes Sir Jim Ratcliffe qualified enough to participate in that conversation? Also, what gives Sir Dave Brailsford the qualifications to participate in that conversation? Jean-Claude Blanc is loosely qualified. He's at least been a CEO of a football club before and has dealt with managers and these kind of positions, or decisions, I should say. But Sir Dave Brailsford, maybe he was involved in some INEOS decisions had to be made back in Nice. But let's talk about Nice. I made a short about this, and I'll go over it really quickly right now. INEOS has been in charge of Nice since 2019, August of 2019. Ever since then, they've been in charge for 5 seasons. They've had 6 different managers. And guess what? Even though they say things like, we've learned from our mistakes, well, they've never finished better than 5th, and they finished 9th twice in 5 seasons. And guess what? The first season they came in, they actually finished 6th. So they had a whole year to learn and then got worse and finished 9th. And they said that they've learned from their mistakes. Sure, okay, let's say you've learned from your mistakes. Why are you losing your manager now? Some will say, well, it's not their fault that he got a good job offer from Ajax. Yeah, it is. Ajax is in the Dutch league. The French league is supposed to be better than the Dutch league. And this manager must not believe that you are ready to challenge in the French league. So he'd rather go win a trophy in the Dutch league. You think this manager wouldn't stick around in the French league if he thought there was a chance to win a trophy? No, he's leaving the Ajax because he thinks over there he has a chance to make a name for himself. Obviously, he doesn't think he can make a name for himself working for you in the French league. Am I out of my mind here? Am I crazy? So that brings us to next season. Well, they'll have their 7th manager. 7 managers in 6 seasons at Nice, where they say they've learned from their mistakes, where they can't even finish in the top 4. Never mind the top 3, which is what I think they should be aiming for. Let's just say PSG has the lockdown on first place. I'm sure second place is there to fight for. And if not second place, then at least third place. And I would think the French league's easier than the Premier League, and these guys can't even finish in the top 4 in the French league after 5 seasons, and they claim they've learned from their mistakes. Guys, I don't mean to anger you. I don't mean to piss you off. I'm just sharing my concerns. But please, please don't tell me that I'm INEOS bashing when I'm presenting facts. These are facts. These are not my opinion. I like to make fun. I like to have fun. I like to do a little joke here and there. But these are facts. Another fact is that actually INEOS has been doing really good for Manchester United when it comes to financial decisions or making appointments in the financial part of the company. I think Barada, amazing appointment. Jean-Claude Blanc, amazing appointment. Right now, I will tell you this. I'm 100% confident that Manchester United, the business, is going to end up being more profitable in the upcoming years than it's ever been. I will tell you that. I am 100% confident that Jean-Claude Blanc and INEOS are going to find a way to build us a new stadium, which is also going to increase revenue. I am 130%, 120%, I'm 1,000% confident that the business in Manchester United is definitely going to grow and get bigger. That's why the Glazers allowed INEOS to come in for 27%. They allowed them to come in for 27% because just like me, they're confident that these people are going to know how to increase revenues and make them more money. Even though they had to give up a percentage to let them in, they knew that it was going to be worth it because in about 3 years' time, that company is going to be worth more. But that doesn't really interest me because I don't think increasing our revenues is going to be the difference in whether or not we play better. We make enough money now to build a team that's good enough to win leagues and Champions Leagues. So that's not really my concern. My concern is what's going on with the footballing side of the company. What's going on with the footballing decisions. And here you are with a major footballing decision, and it looks to me like you're not taking it seriously or you're not making a decision in a timely manner. It looks like you're confused and you're not letting the football people do their jobs. What do you think? Are you concerned as I am? Leave a comment down below. Let me know if you think that this billionaire just bought himself a football club as a new toy for him to walk around and go, have you seen what else I own? Because that's what it feels like so far, Sir Jim. Please let the footballing people make the football decisions and let's move on, yeah? Because guess what? The summer transfer window opens really soon. Now, we've been interested in, do you know how many defenders? 1 million. I don't know. Everybody. Lenny Yoro, Towson, Todibo, Ronald Araujo, Trevor Chalobah, the kid from Benfica, Antonio Silva, I think his name is. And we've talked to all their managers or agents. Just like we talk to all head coaches and managers' agents. Just like we've been tapping up all those head coaches like Southgate, Potter, Tuchel, Roberto De Zerbi, Pochettino, blah, blah, blah. And they still can't make a manager decision. Do you think these guys already know who they're going to bid on when the transfer window opens as it comes to the position we most need, which is a center back position? Do you think right now, would you be willing to bet that they know who their number 1 choice center back is? Because I'll tell you right now, I don't think they do. I think they're indecisive. I think they're still going to have a debate just like they're having right now. Maybe they'll have Jean-Claude Blanc arguing for Branthwaite while Dave Brailsford is arguing for Todibo. Actually switch those around because Brailsford is probably going to want to argue for the English one. Man, it just doesn't seem like the footballing people are making footballing decisions. It doesn't seem like we have a decisive path, a road that we know clearly that this is the road we want to go on. I think that it's good to have options. It really is. It's good to have options. Of course you want to have options. You want to have a plan A and a plan B and maybe even a plan C. But that's where you draw the line. You don't have a plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E, plan F, plan G, plan freaking all the way to Z, and then you look at each other and go, oh, I thought he was plan A. Oh, my bad. I was under the impression this other guy was plan A. And then you don't ever actually have a plan A. You need to have a strong plan A, one that you're willing to actually do, and then have a plan B and a plan C. And if If you can't get A, B, or C, then something's definitely wrong because we're supposed to be one of the biggest clubs in the world. You think Real Madrid gets their plan D or E? I doubt it. Okay, let's talk about some good news because I am getting frustrated and I don't want to do that to all of you guys. So let's talk a little bit about some good news. And the good news is we are going to steal Arsenal's Physio. Arsenal's Physio is going to come join us. That's great because in my last video, I believe it was my last video, or maybe it was 2 videos ago when I said, I don't believe our injuries are all Erik ten Hag's fault. And I stand by that. I do not believe our injuries are Erik ten Hag's fault. I believe the physios need to be better. They need to take care of people better. And then there are stories leaking out that the reason why Varane and Martinez were even able to play in the FA Cup final was because of the new guy we hired that we stole from Arsenal early on in the year. So that's good. And it looks like now he's poaching his old co-workers from Arsenal and bringing them in. That's great. I love it because Arsenal doesn't have that many injuries. They actually know what they're doing over there when it comes to that department. So it's nice to hear. I'm actually very happy about that because I do believe that the fact that we finished so bad in the Premier League does have something to do with the injuries we had this season. And no matter what, whether Erik ten Hag stays or whether he goes, we're going to need a healthy squad next season. And it's nice to have some physios in. So good job, INEOS. Great job moving on this guy. I hope this deal gets done soon so we can get him in before the preseason so he can get started on rehabbing most of our players who are probably still injured. Stories on outgoings. We got word that Dortmund may be interested in Mason Greenwood. They haven't decided yet. But word is that they can't afford Jadon Sancho and they want to take him in for another loan. What do you guys think? This kind of aggravates me. It's like, no, if you can't afford Jadon Sancho, you can't have him on loan again. You already had him on loan. You know what he's capable of. You're either going to buy him or not. Look, what's the point of giving him on loan to them again? I would give him on loan to someone else, maybe in Italy. I don't know, but I wouldn't be so easy to cater to let them have him on loan for one more year. Everybody knows what Jadon's capable of. He's doing a decent job right now. No more loans. Either he stays and plays for us or he gets bought. Or if he has to go on loan, he's got to go on loan to someone other than Dortmund. Now, that is a gamble because what if he goes somewhere on loan where he's not comfortable and he doesn't play well, then he loses value. I don't know. I haven't thought about that much, but I just don't like the idea of him going back to Dortmund for free again. Okay, let's get to the main topic of the day. The main topic of the day is our summer budget. Our summer budget so far, rumored, is very low, that we have very little cash to spend. And nobody's talking about FFP anymore, and I think that's a good thing because I was scared that they were going to use FFP as a reasoning again for not spending, which I hope they don't because I've been reading all of the Swedish Rumble's tweets lately. I'm still going to call them tweets. I don't care if it's called X. What are you going to say? I've been reading someone's X posts. I'm not going to say that. I've been reading all of Swedish Rumble's tweets lately, and he has done a great job breaking down the financials. And this is a little summary of what I understand, but I do urge you guys to all go over to his Twitter feed, X feed, whatever, and read the post yourself. It's a really long post. The guy does a lot of good work. And I asked him a couple of questions. He replied back. So I'm going to give you a little summary of what I understand. Hopefully I get this right, but I think I get the point. So the point is, at the most strictest of FFP calculations, we can spend without sales up to $260 million in transfers this summer. We can spend up to $260 million without sales. Any other sales you add, like if Jadon leaves and if Mason Greenwood leaves, depending on their amortization, we can add a little bit of money to that purse. Now, of course, with Mason Greenwood, all that money could be added. So if we sell him for 30, you can add 30 right on top of that $260 million. Point is this. The point is $260 million without any sales. We already know we're going to get rid of Mason Greenwood for something. And we already know probably that we're going to get rid of Casemiro for something. Now, Casemiro's would also be amortized and would come down, but easily we could spend $300 million is what I'm getting at. So think about it. We can easily spend $300 million, but even if we make no sales, we can spend $260. But here is why we will not. Or here's why we could not. If the owners aren't willing to put money in, because the problem isn't the FFP rules, the problem is the cash on hand. Now, your owners, INEOS, and the Glazers are going to tell you that our cash on hand is only 70 million, 80 million, as they do every single year. Every single year we hear that we only have 70 or 80 million and we have to raise the rest from sales. Now, they can do one of two things, because they always say that and then they end up spending more, don't they? They can do one of two things to bypass that. And the one they've been using, or the mechanism they've been using more often, is debt. They've been using transfer debt. They have like a revolving line of credit. They pull from there and then they pay it off as the year goes on. That's one. I don't like that idea, but it is a way to do it. And if that's what they have to do because they're not going to do option 2, which I'm about to tell you about, then I'll take it because it's better than nothing. Option 2 is what I was talking about a couple of videos ago. They can issue some more stocks, let INEOS buy another 1 or 2% of the company, dump another 200 million, let's say, and there you go. Now you have cash on hand. But they won't do that because for a couple of reasons. Number one, I don't think the Glazers operate that way and want to keep diluting because INEOS already took 27%. But number two, I don't even know if INEOS is interested in dumping any more money into the company. Now, they're supposed to put 100 million this December, and I believe they're going to use some of that cash for January transfers. Now, they tell you that that money is for infrastructure. We'll see. If we start doing something about infrastructure, I'll believe it. So far, they put 200 million in. It was supposed to go to infrastructure. We haven't seen anything. And we still only have 70 million in cash. If we have 70 million in cash, where did the 200 million go that they bought in? I don't know what's going on. But point is this. All they have to do is be willing owners. They have to be willing owners to actually participate and invest into the squad. If they don't want to put some money out of their pocket, then just like they said, or just like the rumors are, we might only have 80 million cash to spend. Again, they can take out a loan. So no reason to panic. They can take out use their revolving line of credit and use some money from there, which is probably what they're going to end up doing. So the good news is this. I think we will spend at least 300 million in the transfer market this summer. I really do. I think we're going to spend at least 300 million. That's probably their number, like their cutoff where they want to be at the end of it. But I'm sure they're willing to go another 20 to 30 or 40 million more if they have to, just to get all those deals through the door. I also think that they're already thinking that they might need to spend another 30 to 50 million next January, which is good because we haven't bought anyone in January since Bruno Fernandes a long time ago. We keep loaning players in. Hopefully next week's a better week for the news. Hopefully next week we have a decision made on Erik ten Hag by Monday or Tuesday. Hopefully we start hearing more solid, concrete talks about what center backs we're going to go after or what other transfers we're going to go after. And hopefully INEOS is not ruining relationships by the way they are. And what I mean by that is because they keep talking to all these agents of managers and players. We don't know what they're promising them, telling them, or leaving them, or leading them to believe when these meetings are over. Hopefully INEOS isn't ruining our reputation even worse than the Glazers already did or had. And hopefully we can do some good business this summer. I will see you guys soon. If you are still here, please consider liking or subscribing. It really helps me out. I'll see you soon. Bye.